friends and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about frugal tips and how to save money, especially if you're a mum. It's so difficult, but seriously, these tips have changed my life. Sorry to be dramatic, but it's true. Before we start, I'm Alina Ghost. I do daily mum shorts and I do 2 long form videos a week as well on YouTube for you guys. So if you want to see that type of content, so basically it's funny stuff, it's vlogs, it's clean with me's, it's motivational things and things to keep you laughing and positive. And basically that's my channel. So do subscribe. I'd love to have you with us. And basically if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up, as it really means that others can watch it as well, because the algorithm likes it and picks it up. So basically, without further ado, let's get straight into the frugal tips. And my number one will be an easy one. That's about buying secondhand. So if you know my channel well, I started out with cloth nappies and basically like secondhand buying. So I still do loads of charity shop runs, so you'll see me doing that. But secondhand could be anything. So basically having something of a family member or friend who doesn't want that item anymore. It's about going to charity shops. It's about buying on loads of these platforms. So from Vintage to eBay to Gumtree. I'm talking not only things that you wear and use, but also things that you can DIY. Whilst we're on the buying theme, I also wanted to mention the fact that you can also bulk buy. So especially if you have a space like a garage or loft space, you know, the attic, you can make use of like putting these lots of items that you might potentially not use for long periods of time. Then this is a great one for you. We've got something in the UK called Costco where you can bulk buy. So I'd very much recommend basically buying in bulk, because that means you get it for a cheaper price. And you can do this also online as well. I know that Amazon does loads of like bulk buys. It means that you get it for cheaper too. So you get it all in one go. Just know that you need storage for it. But it's a great idea to always have that item in the house, especially if it's important to you. So like diapers and formula as well is a good one, especially during that COVID period. My gosh, if you bulk bought before COVID, then you were set for a couple of years, and honestly you wouldn't have had to worry. But yeah, a lot of people were bulk buying during that time. But basically my point to you is to say that not only are you going to have it at home all the time, but it'll also save you money. Tip number 3, and that's about buying when things are on offer, when there's sales around, when there's discounts. And trust me, there are seasonal discounts as well. So you can basically be smarter with your purchase, because we know about these like marketing themes that happen month on month. We can predict when things might go on sale. So for example, electrical goods and things in the January sales. But then there's also things like you can buy Christmas items on Boxing Day, because you know that they're going to be cheaper. And I know a lot of people that actually buy like Christmas cards and wrapping paper for the next year ahead. So it's a great way to save some money, and it's very frugal to basically be aware of when these discounts and sales might come up. Another great idea is what I'm going to be doing with my son. And basically I know that he's going to be a size up in the next winter. So when it comes to the end of this winter, so when it comes to basically March, I'm going to be looking around for a good coat for him for the age of 4 to 5. Frugal tip number 4 is in the similar sort of theme of buying, but this time it's about putting your money into quality items that you know will last. Especially when it comes to kids' shoes, you want to buy good shoes, because you know that if you buy these cheap things, you'll have to buy new ones in a month's time. And I've been there, I've done it. Everybody does it, I think. But basically it's a great idea to buy a good quality item to make sure they actually last them the season at least. So what I'm saying here, it's not about not spending money, it's about spending money on the right things. And if you buy quality items and you look after them, they're more likely to last and therefore save you money in the long run. Another money saving tip is around spreading the cost of your non-essentials throughout the month. So I have a list that I don't have to have right now. So it's very hard for me because I am a millennial. But basically I have a list and I have some items that I want to buy for the house. For example, like a dish rack, which I haven't bought yet. And it's not because I don't have money for it, but it's also not essential because we do have one. It's just about like updating it. And basically I thought I'd spread it out like the non-essentials. I've got quite a few bits on there, and I thought, okay, well, every month I could buy 1 or 2 items. It's a great way to actually teach yourself some self-control when it comes to that buying, but also it saves you some money. It spreads the cost throughout the year. And another thing I can do is actually look out for that item in the sales, keep looking for that as second-hand. Maybe there's something that people don't want to basically have anymore and want to give that away. So it's a great way to basically, when it's a non-essential, because there's no urgency for it, you can be smarter with that purchase, and basically spreading that cost around, making sure that you buy it in discount really helps. Okay, so when it comes to spending money on your kids or during Christmas, like birthdays and things, have a think about whether they even care how much you spend. So I did a great video on this, or a couple of videos actually, around kids not caring how much you spend. I bought loads of items like toys and board games and books for my son, even clothes, in secondhand shops. And he does not know the difference. He doesn't care about the difference, but he likes the fact that it's something new, something different to do. Basically, he likes the fact that things fit when it comes to clothes. But also, they just don't understand the concept of new and old. So it doesn't matter how much you spend. So if you are trying to save money, it's a great way to just throw the newness out the window and basically just be aware around what you're spending for your kids' birthdays, for Christmas and presents and gifting in general, because most of us just don't care whether it's new or not, as long as it's something thoughtful, as long as it makes sense and it's comfortable, as long as it's loads and loads of fun when it comes to toys. I've mentioned this one very briefly earlier, but this one is around DIY, so do it yourself wherever you can, especially when I'm talking around like house stuff and maintenance, and basically updating like decor and things. So we bought this house 2 years ago and we've been updating non-stop. Don't get me wrong, we spent a chunk of money to get our bathroom sorted. I'll add a link down below, but it was a huge transformation. We had like a pink toilet and basin, we had a brown, like a mushroom brown bathroom suite, and it was 2 separate rooms. They had carpet down. Basically it was horrific. But yeah, we spent some money to break down the wall and make it into like a huge family bathroom, which looks really nice if I do say so myself. But basically there are things around the house that we've been doing DIY. We've done the living room DIY, we have done like hall stairs and landing, taken down the wallpaper, we've painted, we've done loads. And I also did my kids' room, so I even added my own paneling. It's about, like, I've never done it before. It's about trying, and it's about just enjoying the process of getting that done as well. It's about enjoying doing something for yourself, and in that way, like, because we did it all ourselves in those cases, we saved ourselves thousands of pounds. And I'm not kidding, because we actually got a quote from a decorator. We asked how much would it cost, and they told us like a lot of money, and we were like, no, we're young, we're able, we're going to try and do this ourselves, especially after the rewiring, because it was so crazy, holes everywhere in the walls and things, and even the coving that needed to be done. We had no idea what we're doing, but we did it, and we had fun doing it too. This next tip I want to get better at this year, and that is around cashbacks and using like affiliate links. So I've been doing this a little bit already, but especially when it comes to like getting a cashback app, I just wanted to make sure that I could like scroll down, have a look at what the offers are. So talking about being like savvy and looking at discounts and offers, I just want to make sure that like if I am on the lookout for something, I can go to these cashback sites and you can actually get money for it. This one's a great one as well if you want to go on holidays and like save some money for like flights and things, because you can do that there too. But the other thing is affiliates. So I watch like loads of YouTube, and these are influencers, and these influencers often partner up with other companies, and I've managed to get such good deals on some of these items, especially when it comes to quality clothes. So I've been really picky around what kind of clothes I wear. This is secondhand, by the way, but like I wanted like cotton or linen products, you know. So I usually like have a look out to see whether there's an affiliate link, which means usually you get like a good discount, whether it's 15%, whether it's more or less, but still you get some money off, and it's just about being smart. Another frugal tip is around your groceries and what kind of food are you buying. So I've seen numerous people on YouTube that I watch and love, especially mums, who said the first thing that they did to basically get some money back in the bank, and that's to cut down on like meals that they buy out, but also start learning how to bake and cook. Usually that means you can bulk prepare, you can freeze items, you can get these ingredients for cheaper, you cook it, put it together, and then it's tasty. It also means it's a lot healthier as well. So look at it this way, not only are you feeding your family with great nutrients, it's not processed foods most of the time, basically you're saving your family money by being smarter with the kind of food that you're buying. And not only am I talking about dinners and things like that, but also packed lunches. Instead of giving your children money for lunch, basically give them a packed lunch. And I know it's more effort, I do understand that, but if you're trying to save money, it's a great way to do that, because you can bulk buy, you can prepare beforehand and make sure that they're eating well, but also saving you tons of money in the meantime. So something that's super like common these days, and it's my call out to you to be aware of this, and that's subscriptions. Make sure to check your bank account. Make sure to see what kinds of things that you are subscribed to that you might not necessarily need, by cutting those down, or potentially by getting something. So for example, if you've got numerous different things that you watch on TV, from Netflix to Prime and etc, like Disney, why don't you have a think about if you only need one? So why have three? Potentially you can make do with one in the meantime whilst you're trying to save money, and that's a great way to be aware of the subscriptions that you have, so that you could potentially cut those down if you don't need them. Sometimes I found like a friend who looked at her subscriptions and she was like, I don't need this. I've moved house and I no longer need this thing. I don't know why I've been signed up to it for the last 3 years. So imagine, I know that it's only £4 or £5 and it seems like a little amount, but it all adds up. So it's basically my call out to you, go check your subscriptions now. This next tip is a super cute one, and that's about going to the library for books. You don't have to buy new, you don't even have to buy secondhand, you can simply borrow. And borrowing from the library is fantastic because you get to read a wide range of things. It's some newness. It also gets your kid out and about, because in the libraries it's so much fun as well. So it's a great little activity that you can do potentially on a weekly basis. So yeah, it saves you lots of money because you don't have to buy new books all the time. It also saves you space, which is always a plus, especially when you've got kids. So many things are lying around the house. When it comes to activities, actually, I would very much recommend looking for free activities. And I put together a list myself last year around free activities to do in London. We live on in Greater London, which is like the outskirts, like the suburbs. And basically it's less than an hour train to get into London, and basically we can do all these free things. I made a list, from visiting free museums to going to see certain sites that are absolutely free. There's free parks and things, so there are always options to do free things with the kids. Yes, sometimes it's weather dependent, but guys, like if you're saving money, it's a great way to go and do some free stuff, even though it might be some effort to do it, because it saves you money. And if you are basically, if you've got a plan and we're going to save money for X thing. So for example, for us, we're saving money for an extension, hopefully next year. So because we're frugal, this is what we're doing. And I've recently, even last week, went to a free museum with my 3-year-old, and it was abysmal. It was an appalling museum, sorry to say, Tate Modern Museum. However, we absolutely loved the day because we spent the whole day looking at London sites, from London Eye to Big Ben, basically walking down the River Thames. It was amazing, but it was all free as well. So I literally had to spend some money on some treats, which is fine, like a hot drink for me and a donut for my son, but also train and travel and stuff. But if you think about it, if we actually went to like a theme park or somewhere bigger, basically soft play, you just have to pay extra money on top of that. So actually, I'm very happy with how much we spent. A really great tip for just life in general, and that is about maintaining the items that you have so that you don't have to replace them. So for example, it's like putting through the cleaner through the washing machine and the dishwasher. We've got like a reminder to do that on a monthly basis, just to make sure that our items that we're using constantly and that we rely on so much, that they're clean, they're maintained, and that we can continue using them, and that we don't have to buy a new one necessarily until a very long time. So hopefully by looking after your items, they will then last, and then you don't have to buy some new ones, saving you money in the long run. There's only a couple of tips to go, and this one is basically your energy usage. So first thing I would recommend is every year make sure that you actually compare the prices of your energy. That's if you're not in a fixed rate. But I always recommend that you compare the prices. You call them up and then say, actually, I've compared your price that you're going to put me on and this other company's price, and they're much cheaper by this much. Can you either put it down or lower because I'm a loyal customer, or you say goodbye to those and go to the other company. So that's a great way to keep making sure that your contracts, especially with energy, is kept at a low. But the other thing I was going to recommend is that it actually matters when you use your appliances and your energy. So firstly, I'd say actually don't waste the energy. So if you do boil like a kettle, for example, make sure that it's not full of water, that actually you only put as much water as you need into the kettle. But the other thing I was going to recommend is make sure that it's at a certain time. So not necessarily the kettles, because we always need a cup of tea during the whole day, but like when it comes to washing machines and dishwashers, if you actually put them on at a certain time, there's peak hours. So usually peak hours are from around 5 to 9. But actually check that because it changes every year. Essentially, if you do it really early in the morning, so if you like wake up 6-7 a.m, stick that washing machine on, because that will be like a cheaper rate. Actually, the cheapest will be when everybody's asleep, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend when you are sleeping, because if there is a malfunction, that you wouldn't know about it until you wake up, and it's going to be a nightmare. So what I'm saying is just make it realistic. Like if you are an early bird, wake up early, put the washing on, or already have that washing in there prepared from the night before. That's what I do. You just stick it on as soon as you're up, which is usually around 6:30 a.m, and basically it's on, and you're not using energy during those peak times. So sometimes some energies, and check this, some energy companies actually don't charge you as much if you do start using your energy off peak times, and I think more energy companies are doing that more and more these days. Last but not least, guys, and I think this one is probably the most important one, in a world where we have Instagram and social media and we see so many lovely things, especially what people are wearing, we compare ourselves. But my last tip of being frugal is about A, being grateful for what you already have, and B, it's not about you having to buy something right now that is going to be beautiful and amazing. So to give you an example, we moved into this house, and for 2 years we are putting up with a horrible kitchen that doesn't have much space, that is falling apart, that is not fit for purpose, because we don't even have a cooker in there. We are using an air fryer. Basically, try not to be a perfectionist and try not to compare yourselves to others. Just give it time and then work towards what you want to achieve. So we're saving up money to get an extension to replace that kitchen, but by the time it happens, I think it's going to be 3 or 4 years into like using this old kitchen that we have been for a very, very long time. So basically what I'm saying is, be grateful for what you have. I'm so grateful to have such a large house that I could DIY and do up. It's about basically looking at the positives of what you currently have. It doesn't matter what others might be spending their money on, what they've got. It's about what you and your plans are, what your means are, and basically what you want to achieve in the long run as well. So I have been talking about the long run quite a few times. So it's basically, when you're frugal, you're playing the long game, you're being organized, and you're being smarter with the peaks and troughs of like seasonal buying of the year. So those are my tips to you, and I hope that they're useful. I live by them. My life is revolved around them and I love it. And basically I'm very much looking forward to hearing what you end up doing. How, like, have you got any other frugal tips that you would add? If so, add that in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.